So Riot have finally announced they're going to be adding a sandbox mode to League of Legends. This is something I'm incredibly happy about, and in this video I'm going to tell you why. For those of you that don't know, I'm a really big fan of esports, and one of my favourite esports to watch is going to be Super Street Fighter 4, well now it's Super Street Fighter 5, because they have such a high level of competition in that game, and every match at the top level is just ridiculous to watch. And honestly, I think the reason for this is that the players can dip in and out of what they call the lab, which is basically training mode to find all the different setups, train all the different matchups over and over and over again. Basically, they have sandbox mode, and what they can do is train smart as opposed to train hard. For the past 6 seasons, this just hasn't been the case with League of Legends. The top players have generally had to play 8, 10, 14 hours a day just grinding out solo queue, which honestly is not an efficient way of getting good at the game, because there are too many imperfect situations. Like if you're smurfing, something like that, you're not getting experience. If you're getting matched up with players lower than you, that's not good experience. If you get dumpstered in a game and you just want to end it, then that's just like a 20-minute time waste. Waiting for queue times is a big time waste. It's all like so much time waste in that 14 hours. Like you're not actually getting much quality gameplay in those 14 hours. The sandbox mode is going to allow teams to train so much more efficiently, and also it's going to allow solo queue players to train so much more efficiently. And in this video, I want to teach you how you can use sandbox mode really effectively to get really good at the game really fast. So I would say the biggest thing the sandbox gives you is the ability to replay a team fight over and over and over and over again, which is seriously huge for learning mechanical plays in team fights, learning how to play team fights, when to go in, because I find in games a lot of people are scared, they don't really know what to do in team fights. Obviously, if you're in sandbox mode, you're not in a game, you don't have any LP in the state on the line. It doesn't matter if you win or lose the game. You can just go absolutely ham in these team fights and know learn exactly what to do in the team fights. And then more people are going to get good at team fighting and take that into solo queue. So in solo queue, and especially in LCS, when teams are going to be scrimming against each other, team fighting is going to become, I think, a really huge part of solo queue in League of Legends if sandbox mode takes off and is as hype as everyone expects. So here are my tips for team fighting. Firstly, the first and foremost thing you want to do is get online, get you and a couple of mates, or some people you've met online or whatever. Get into a sandbox mode against another 5 people. You want to be in comms together, so you have like really coordinated team fights. And the first thing you want to do is try and draft like really interesting, sort of good comps, like comps that are really good for team fighting. Or it basically, sandbox mode gives you the ability to try out so many different things and sort of experiment with so many different synergies between champions, different item builds especially, and also just unique and interesting ways to engage and sort of play out a team fight. You also want to be playing the same team fight over and over again a couple of times, and I'll say try and change the build between team fights to see different items that work, because item builds and like knowing what items to build at the right time is really important in solo queue. It's honestly one of the most important things I think people overlook or sort of get wrong a lot of the time, me included. So definitely try out different builds, because you might find some really OP combinations of items. I know I saw something fun the other day where if you build like Thormail and Hextech Gunblade, you'll get healed from auto attacks, that kind of thing. So you can try out all these like fun combinations of items and just kind of see what works for you. Everyone's got a different playstyle. You'll be able to figure out your playstyle in team fights. You might find something really unique and interesting that you're like the first one to find. You can take to solo queue and abuse. Sandbox mode, I can't stress, it is such a big opportunity for team fighting and for team play that when it comes out, you want to make the most of it as soon as possible, and I am sure you'll gain rating if you use it effectively. So the next thing I want to talk about is working on those little mechanics that can help you in the high pressure times in your solo queue games. And specifically, I think you can use sandbox mode to work on those difficult wall flashes. Like top lane, flashing over the big rock in top lane. It's like a 50-50 thing. I'm sure all of us have missed that at some point, and you can think of all sorts of places around the map where you've missed flashes. Well, they're giving you a button now that lets you reset your cooldowns, so you can have infinite flashes, you can have infinite tries, and basically you can keep doing those flashes over and over and over again until they're worked into your muscle memory, until you know exactly where to stand. And if you know how to do those, it's only a really little thing, but if you can do that 98 times out of 100, and everyone else is only doing it 50 times out of 100, that's going to give you a big advantage in your solo queue games, and it's going to help you out with those little micro plays. So the last thing I want to talk about is different item builds against your specific lane opponent. So you can go in the top lane or the mid lane or whatever and build 2 different items every single time, see what works and doesn't work, and basically just go to lane all in and basically see who wins. This is going to be a really incredibly fast way of learning the lane matchups for a specific champion, because you can like put yourself ahead unnaturally, you can put yourself behind, you can change your level, you can do whatever you want to give yourself loads of different situations, all the possible situations you could have with your champion against like every other champion in League of Legends if you're playing with a mate, for instance. And you can kind of get like 300 games worth of laning experience done within like a couple of weeks of play if you know life it. And that is so valuable. I sort of feel a little bit bad for the one tricks, because I think is maybe bad for the one tricks because people are going to catch them up in skill possibly. Let's say if you want to play Riven and you have the new Sandbox mode, you can literally pick up Riven, go into every single basically like possible lane, like laner against every single other champion in the game, learn all the matchups, learn the best things to build, and sort of get to a very high skill with Riven very quickly if you want to do that. And that is an incredibly powerful thing. I think possibly the most powerful thing the Sandbox mode offers, and I think it's really going to transform the game, because now if you want to get to Diamond and you want to be a really strong laner, Sandbox mode is definitely going to be the way to go for you if you want to get there fast and if you want to get there efficiently. So I'm really looking forward to it. Right, so that was my take on how to use the upcoming Sandbox mode efficiently and effectively. I hope this guys helped you out. If you got any more tips for other people, you can leave them in the comments below. I'll be happy to read them. I'm interested myself what you guys are going to use Sandbox mode for, or if you're going to use it at all. Honestly, it's probably the update I've been most excited for a long time, really. Like, there's been some dumb updates recently, but Season 7 is looking good. They're bringing back solo queue and duo queue, and they're bringing out this Sandbox mode. Things are looking really good. Thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully I'll see you for another video.